This is mostly showing everything that we used in the experiment. Here is a close-up of each individual item. This was the funnel with filter paper in it. The filter paper was to filter out any of the sand from the water. This was the filter paper that we put into the funnel. We folded it in half and half again to make a cone shape, which then sat in the funnel. The holes in the filter paper are too big to let any of the sand through. This is why the filtering works. This was the evaporating basin. We put the salty water in it once we had filtered out the sand. We then heated this to evaporate off the water. To heat the evaporating basin, we used a Bunsen burner. We put it on a heating flame, which is the air hole half open. This was the mixture of salt and sand that we had. We were trying to separate the salt from the sand to achieve the end goal. This is the tripod and gauze that we used. The evaporating basin rested on the gauze, and the gauze rested on the tripod. We used a spatula to dissolve the mixture of salt and sand into the water. The salt dissolved into the water, but the sand did not. This was the start of us separating it. The method. First, we stirred the mixture into the water. Because the salt is a solute, it dissolved into the water, but the sand stayed where it was. This means that we could move on to step 2 of the process. Next, we had to filter out the sand from our mixture, so we first filtered it through the filter paper. What we were left with was the water plus the salt, and that meant that the sand was left in the filter paper. This was the first part of filtering the salt out from the sand. The third and final stage was to evaporate the water away so we would just be left with the salt. We knew our mixture was ready when we saw it bubbling and steam rising off it. This was a good indicator that the salt was ready to collect. The salt formed on the side of the evaporating basin. This meant that you could pick it up, and we had completed the task of separating sand from salt.